Hello world, and welcome to the second segment of Healthy Me, Healthy You on Non-Fil Flicks, your home for Black entertainment. This is Miss Kitty Vittles coming to you from the good USA, hey, with the finicky sensitivity to lay it all out for you. This episode, we're coming at you again with a very familiar, yet as you'll soon see, still a very tricky subject, coronavirus, also known as COVID-19. This time we're going to discuss the vaccines a little in detail. In fact, that's this episode's education segment. And we've also got some news to catch up on and a little current events and interesting stories to share. New York City marks a pandemic milestone. New social distancing guidelines. Also, Florida's most recent headlines recap, including some Ron DeSantis entanglements, including the special What's Going On with Florida's Mountains? Indianapolis man commits quadruple murder over stimulus money. The White House embarks on the Help Is Here tour. Almost 40% of Marines declined COVID-19 vaccine. Medical miracle, baby born with 3 penises. And special tribute, DMX. First, we'll discuss the Moderna mRNA 1273 vaccine, also simply called the Moderna vaccine. It's a 2-dose series of injections taken 28 days apart in the shoulder. It was 94.1% effective at preventing COVID-19 illness in people who received 2 doses who had no evidence of being previously infected. Approximately 3,000 Black Americans participated in the clinical trials for this vaccine. The Moderna vaccine may not be as effective in preventing variant strain B1351. There are currently studies underway to test this, and there's also an alert of allergic reactions, including anaphylaxis after receipt of the first shot. A vaccination series started with this COVID-19 vaccine should be completed with the same product. This goes for all 2-dose vaccines. The J&J Janssen COVID-19 vaccine is a single-dose vaccination that is 66.3% effective during clinical trials at preventing COVID-19 illness in people who had no evidence of prior infection. People had the most protection 2 weeks after getting vaccinated, and this was in a multi-country study. Most importantly, it was 85% effective in protecting against severe disease, and there were no hospitalizations or deaths among the people in the vaccine's clinical trial. Early evidence suggests that the J&J vaccine might provide protection against asymptomatic infection, which is when a person is infected with the virus that causes COVID-19 but does not get sick. 19.4% of participants were Black or African American who participated in this trial of 43,783 people. 13% of the population were Black or African American and living in the U.S. The most common side effects in the arm where you got the shot would be pain, redness, swelling, and throughout the rest of the body it would be tiredness, headache, muscle pain, chills, fever, or nausea, or any combination thereof. The vaccine was 72% protective in the United States, 66% protective in South America, 57% protective in South Africa. The J&J vaccine was still being tested when the variants started their rounds, so it's been being tested mostly on them in South Africa, specifically B1351. Anaphylaxis is also a possibility. This is the swelling of the nose and tongue and throat. Sometimes it feels itchy in the nose and tongue. The CDC and FDA have recommended a pause in the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, effective Tuesday, April 13th. People who've received the J&J vaccine within the past 3 weeks who develop a severe headache, abdominal pain, leg pain, or shortness of breath should seek medical care immediately. Now we'll discuss the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine. It's a 2-dose series separated by only 21 days. It's also a shoulder injection. The age limit is 16, which is the youngest age limit allowed so far. Of the 46,000 people who enrolled ages 12 and up in the study, with a total of 10% of its participants being black and all being from the U.S. 95% effective against COVID-19 beginning 28 days after the first dose. The effectiveness in adults over age 65 years of age was 94%. The last vaccine we're going to discuss today is from the University of Oxford, AstraZeneca. Their website boasts 100% efficacy rate in phase 3 trials interim analysis results published in The Lancet February 3, 2021. The vaccine is 70.4% effective in preventing symptomatic COVID-19 occurring more than 14 days after receiving 2 doses of the vaccine. A further analysis of the varied effectiveness showed that when the vaccine was given as 2 full doses, vaccine efficacy was 62.1% and 90% in participants who received a half dose followed by a full dose. AstraZeneca vaccine is currently being tested on children and has been tested in parts of the world such as Africa, the UK, and Brazil. Something to note about this particular vaccine, its rollout has also been stopped in many countries around the world due to a possible link in blood clots. But in a more recent study, it was proven that COVID-19 is more likely to cause the clot than the vaccine, according to researchers at the University of Oxford who have nothing to do with the vaccine. Now, the CDC has not officially posted about its efficacy rate as of April 15, 2021. Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and the University of Oxford AstraZeneca have all explored a few possible combinations of possibilities. This is the education segment for today. May you be enlightened. New York City marks the 1-year anniversary of its first COVID death by lights and images across the city accented with some faces of COVID victims projected on the Brooklyn Bridge. Now some health officials are raising concerns about a variant of the virus. B.1.1.7 is now the leading infectious strain making hotspots of several states like Michigan, New York, and Florida, among others. Even with nearly 23% of the population fully vaccinated, the warning is not to get too anxious and rush back into the routines that can spread the virus, but to ease into a sensible method of operation that will allow us all to stay safe. New social distancing guidelines? Dr. Anthony Fauci is now saying that 3 feet is sufficient as opposed to the previous 6 feet that we have been practicing thus far for school-aged children. 80% of teachers have been vaccinated as of April 6, 2021. Since Ron DeSantis has not made any mask mandates and has essentially flattened most options that Florida counties have had to collectively uphold any rules during COVID by putting tourism ahead of health, there have been headlines in the news such as, now, though majority of colleges canceled spring break 2021, Florida spring breakers have forgotten that there's a pandemic, Miami Beach mayor says. COVID-19, Miami Beach imposes emergency curfew over spring break chaos. 2 spring breakers drugged, raped woman, then party, cops say. She died in a South Beach hotel. Residents hold protests outside Miami Beach City Hall as spring break chaos remains cause of concern. All Florida residents aged 18 years of age and older are now eligible to receive a COVID-19 vaccine as prescribed by the FDA, that's the Food and Drug Administration. The Pfizer vaccine is authorized for persons aged 16 and up, and the Moderna vaccine is authorized for persons aged 18 and up. Please don't forget that Janssen, also known as Johnson & Johnson, is on hold right now as they are running more tests. U.S. Senator Rick Scott has tweeted and sent an open message asking senators for states and cities poised to receive a collective $360 billion from the American Rescue Act stimulus package to send it back. Manatee County officials have issued evacuation orders for the area surrounding Florida's Piney Point in anticipation of imminent catastrophic collapse of a phosphogypsum stack retention pond holding up to 700 million gallons of wastewater on Easter weekend. After a significant leak at a large pond of wastewater threatened to flood roads and burst a system that stores polluted waters, officials in Florida ordered more than 300 homes to be evacuated and closed off a highway on the Saturday of Easter weekend near the large reservoir in Tampa. Residents who live in the Piney Point Reservoir area received an alert via text saying to leave the area immediately because the collapse was imminent. Authorities expanded the evacuation area later Saturday to include more homes, but said that they were not planning to open shelters. The Florida Department of Environmental Protection says a break was detected Good Friday in one of the walls of a 77-acre pond that has a depth of 25 feet. That's 33 hectares for the wall and 8 meters of depth of the water. And it holds millions of gallons of water containing phosphorus and nitrogen from an old phosphate plant. Indianapolis man committed quadruple homicide. On March 13th, Malik Halfacre, age 25, was apprehended while hiding inside of the attic of a home on the east side of Indianapolis. He was wanted for shooting Janitris Moore, the mother of his 6-month-old child, in the back, and for shooting and killing 4 members of her family. Anthony Johnson, 35, her cousin, Daquan Moore, 23, her brother, Eve Moore, 7, her daughter, and Tamika Brown, 44, her mother, taking the 6-month-old baby that he shares with Moore. In an interview with police, Halfacre said that he and his daughter's mother were arguing because he wanted some of her stimulus check before the shooting, according to police affidavit. He told investigators that after he shot everyone inside the home, he took the money and Miss Moore's purse and car before fleeing the scene. The bright side? The baby has been returned unharmed. President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are visiting several U.S. cities coast to coast, stopping at vaccination sites and having sessions talks with small business owners to explain the $1.9 trillion plan to defeat the coronavirus and boost the economy. The recovery plan is to help build support with the public. Vice President Harris visited a vaccination clinic at the University of Las Vegas in Nevada as President Biden held a briefing at the White House. They also visited Jacksonville and Pittsburgh and more. They were set to travel to Atlanta but had to postpone to instead meet with local Asian American leaders in light of the tragic spa shootings that befell Metro Atlanta on March 16, 2021. The plan is set to shift the tax burdens and help build the economy by raising taxes of large corporations. The message, help is on the way. A component of that is shots in arms and money in pockets. The president's program to get America vaccinated seems to be ahead of schedule and not losing any steam. According to data provided to CNN on April 9th by the service, the first branch to disclose service-wide numbers on acceptance and declination, nearly 40% of U.S. Marines are declining COVID-19 vaccinations. That rate at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina, one of the more prominent Marine Corps bases, was far higher at 57%. Of the 26,400 Marines who were offered vaccines, 15,100 have chosen not to receive them, a number that includes both 2nd Marine Expeditionary Force and Marine Corps installation east of Camp Lejeune. Another 11,500 active duty Marines are scheduled to be offered the vaccines. Marine Corps spokesperson Colonel Kelly Froschur told CNN in a statement, "There are a number of potential reasons a Marine may choose not to receive a vaccine, including allowing others to receive it first, waiting until it becomes mandatory, getting it through other channels, or being allergic to the vaccine. The key to addressing the pandemic is building vaccine confidence. Service members who decline one day can change their mind and become vaccinated when next the opportunity presents itself," she said. At present, the Marines report 33% declination numbers when it looks more like 50%, according to an anonymous source. Last month, a group of Democratic lawmakers called on President Joe Biden to issue a waiver of informed consent to make getting the vaccine against COVID-19 mandatory for all U.S. military service members, writing in a letter that disinformation and vaccine skepticism are influencing service members to opt out. Medical miracle. Baby born with 3 penises. A Kurdish boy from Duhok, Iraq, was originally taken to the hospital by his parents at 3 months old due to swelling of the scrotum. However, when he arrived, doctors observed he had some extras. One 2-centimeter member sprouting near the root of his primary member, and another 1 centimeter long member situated under his sac. He is the first ever reported case of human trophalia, a condition in which 3 phalluses form during embryonic development. Yet, there was one other similar instance of triplet neither regions that made headlines in India in 2015, but couldn't be verified as it wasn't documented in a medical journal. Despite boasting the only recorded case of trophalia, this latest case study isn't the only multi-membered fella out there. First reported in 1609, the condition diphalia, extra or supernumerary penises, are a rare congenital condition occurring only once every 5 million to 6 million live births, according to researchers. The level of development of these extra phalluses differs in different individuals. In the case of the child in Iraq, the 2 additional penises contain the erectile tissue called corpus cavernosum, which becomes engorged with blood during arousal, as well as a tissue called corpus spongiosum, which helps support the urethra, the tube in which urine passes. But the extra penises didn't have urethras, and this made surgical removal of the extra organs simple. According to a case study published in the International Journal of Surgery Case Reports in November, the boy was doing well at a follow-up visit a year after this. And finally, rap legend DMX passes away at age 50. Earl Simmons, also known as DMX, made a splash in rap music in 1998 with his first studio album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, which debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 chart. The multi-platinum selling album was anchored by several hits, including Rough Riders anthem, Get At Me Dog, and Stop Being Greedy. The rapper released 7 albums, starting with It's Dark and Hell is Hot, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, and then there was X, The Great Depression, Grand Champ, Year of the Dog, Again, Live, and Undisputed. He received 3 Grammy nominations and the following awards: American Music Award for Favorite Artist, Rap, or Hip Hop, BET Hip Hop Award for Best Collabo, Duo, or Group in 2006 for the Touch It remix with Busta Rhymes, Mary J. Blige, Missy Elliott, Rod Digger, Lloyd Banks, and Papoose. A Billboard Music Special Award for his first 4 albums debuting at number 1 in 2001. A Billboard Music Award for R&B and Hip Hop Album Artist of the Year in 1999. Soul Train Music Award, the Sammy Davis Jr. Award for the Entertainer of the Year, Male, in 2000. DMX was also featured in films such as Belly, Romeo Must Die, Exit Wounds, Cradle to the Grave, and Last Hour. In 2006, he starred in a reality television series called DMX, Soul of a Man, which was primarily aired on BET Cable Television Network. In 2003, he published a book of his memoirs entitled Earl, the Autobiography of DMX. DMX passed away at age 50 in White Plains Hospital in New York on Friday, April 9, 2021. He was on life support from April 2nd until his passing, with the Rough Riders showing support by sitting on and standing next to their bikes outside the hospital, along with countless fans and loved ones. Celebrities and fans around the world kept vigil and prayed, sending well wishes to the rapper actor. It was reported by his attorney Murray Richmond on Saturday that he could not confirm nor deny reports that DMX overdosed on drugs and that he was not sure what caused the heart attack. Sources told TMZ that DMX overdosed at his home around 11 p.m. last Friday. He was the father of 15 children with 9 women, marrying once, and engaged at the time of his passing. He went through bankruptcy, child support cases, being incarcerated 30 times and more. Yet through it all, he continued to drop gems via his music and online videos, praying and teaching with a rawness and honesty that collects and connects fans to phenom. He is the only rapper to have his first 5 studio albums debut at number 1, and he was the first living hip-hop artist to have 2 projects go platinum in the same year. Various celebrities paid tribute through outlets like social media, including former NFL star Torrey Smith, basketball stars LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal, actress Gabrielle Union, who co-starred with DMX in the 2003 film Cradle to the Grave, along with Jet Li, who also paid tribute, Swizz Beatz, who DMX collaborated with, including the hit single Rough Riders Anthem, Eve, Missy Elliott, and longtime friend Dragon. His humanitarianism often took the back burner to sensationalism of the other more negative aspects of his life in the media, such as drug use. But to true fans, such as myself, he will be sorely missed. Guys, this completes our second episode of Healthy Me, Healthy You. We here at Non-Fil Flicks hope that we were able to enlighten your day and pray safety, love, wisdom, and elevation into each of your lives. And now, got some information to share? A correction to make? Well, I love learning and appreciate the truth, so please, by all means, drop a comment below and let's discuss it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, wash your hands, wear your mask, and be safe. And this is Kitty Vittles at Non-Fil Flicks wishing you peace and health. Healthy me, healthy you.